This is the MHS Pawdcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School.
Hey everyone, happy holidays and welcome to the final edition of 2020 of the Metuchen High School Podcast with Julia Hirschfield. I'm Itai Kalegi. A lot to get to today. We'll be spotlighting the all-new Medicine Club with Omar Jabber and Mr. Clapp. We'll also be spotlighting the Media Club and everything new there. And for the fourth straight year, me and Josh will face off in holiday trivia with our club advisor, Miss Wisniewski, which is always an experience. So we'll get to that soon. But winter break coming up, it's a little different this year. Julia, what are some of your plans heading into break?
Thank you for asking. So I celebrate Christmas, and in Polish culture, Christmas Eve is very important. So I'm looking forward to celebrating that. But for the rest of break, I'll just be doing some college preparations and catching up on sleep. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Well, for me, I'm also Polish and we also celebrate Christmas Eve a lot, but it's a little different this year. We're actually going to be doing it in the garage, it's just trying to be safe, taking all the necessary precautions, but it's still nice to be with the family and do things safely and just to get a break from everything with school because it's been a tough first 4 months, but very excited about winter break coming up. Let's move into the announcements now, Julia.
Thank you, Eddie. On January 7th, starting at 3 p.m., PM Studios will return to Metuchen High School for the last opportunity to have your photographs taken in time to be included in the 2021 yearbook. More information can be found on the school website. The virtual National Honor Society induction ceremony will take place on Thursday night, January 14th at 7. In sports, congratulations to all of our fall athletes who won conference awards, including Noelle Leaf, who won GMC Field Hockey Player of the Year for the second year straight, and 4 girls runners who were named to the All-GMC team, senior Bridget Thomas and juniors Caroline Schleif, Molly Maleg, and Bridget Thomas. Finally, we'd like to wish all of you a happy holidays and a great winter break. School returns on Monday, January 4th. That's all for announcements. Back to you, Eddie.
Thank you, Julia. Let's move into our interview now with Omar and Mr. Clapp. There is a new club coming to Metuchen High School. It's the Medicine Club. To preview and spotlight it, it's great to be joined by the club's president, Senior Omar Jabber, and its advisor, science teacher at MHS, Mr. Clapp. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So first question goes to Omar. How did you first become interested in medicine?
Well, when I was growing up, most of my relatives, they were all in the medical field somehow, or they were in science. And always they would give me a reason for why my future should be in medicine or any scientific study. And it just kind of rubbed off on me. And when I got to high school, I noticed all my science classes are really fun. And even when they got difficult, I really enjoyed them because it allowed me to take some time to think and solve a problem. And recently, my grandfather, who lived in New York, in Brooklyn, he was a gynecologist and he recently passed away. And seeing all the people who came to pay their respects and talking about all the stories they had with him, it was exciting because all the respect people have for him for his career and all the things he did for the community, and he was the president of the Arab American Society of New York, and all the things he did for the community, it built these relationships and the respect for him, and that's one of the reasons it ignited my interest and why I want to get into it. And also looking through a physician's perspective like him, he built all these relationships with people for all the people he treated. So that's another reason why I want to get into it, because the connection you have with people, as opposed to the connection a businessman has with his client or a real estate agent has with his client, it's not as deep as a doctor. So that's my reason.
That's wonderful. Mr. Clapp, how did Omar first approach you about this idea? And how did you guys get the ball rolling on the club?
Well, Omar reached out to me via email to start it off. Normally, it would be a little bit more in person, but with everything being virtual right now, it's really hard to kind of get in touch with people and find people and all that. So Omar, I was looking through my email one day, and all of a sudden I had this email from this Omar Jabber person no idea who that was. And, I opened it up and, he said, "Hi, Mr. Clapp. I know you're the honors health science teacher. And I've been really looking forward to doing a medical club for people that are interested in going into the medical field." And, for those of you that might not know, the honors health class is kind of like a human anatomy physiology with like a medical spin on it. So as he was looking to start the club, he saw that it needed an advisor. He knew that I was the teacher for that human anatomy club, figured I'd be the perfect fit. And actually it's, it's an awesome idea, and I'm really glad he started it.
So I know Omar was telling me before this that today's the introductory meeting, and you already have some people who have already joined the club, which is cool. But what are some of the plans you have for club meetings and some of the other goals for the club, Omar?
Well, what I have in mind for now is we're gonna have this interest meeting today and see. We're gonna tell the members what we're gonna do, and it's a little bit about our plans, vague plans. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna expand some, learn more about the medical fields, and maybe get a doctor come and talk from different doctors from different fields. But mostly what I plan on doing is having the members vote on what they want to do and give me some feedback so I can know new ideas and what they're interested in, what they want to know, so I can keep it interesting for them.
So why should students join the medicine club?
Do
you want to take this, Omar?
Oh, do you want to take Mr. Clapp? I'm not too sure.
No, it's okay. Hey, you're the man got this all started, so go ahead, man.
I can answer partly, then Mr. Clapp can give his reasons too.
That works.
So I just think one reason, it's because I noticed that there's no medical club. There's a lot of academic clubs in the school, and there was no medicine club, so that's why I want to get it started. People should join because, well, if they want to learn more about their future or just make their resume look better for colleges, that's one of the reasons. You can go ahead, Mr. Clapp. Sorry about that.
No. Hey, listen, I want you to be able to say everything you want to say, because this is your baby, so don't be afraid. So just a few reasons I would think. Personally, I'm a little biased being an actual science teacher and being the kind of person who actually talks about this human anatomy, all this kind of stuff. I personally think that what else is more interesting than what's actually happening, or figuring out what's happening to your own body, to yourselves, where you can hear somebody say oh, this happens because of this, and you go, oh my gosh, that's why that happened, or that's why that hurt, so I always thought that it's really interesting to learn that stuff. And having only really one class like that here, if you don't get into the honors health class, because you need prerequisites to join, and if you don't necessarily have the prerequisites to get into that class, then you can be interested in that stuff and still have no interaction with it before college. So this is a way for, if you were not able to get into that class, you now have this opportunity to get a lot of, knowledge and experience, outside of the classroom, and actually be able to, hear from people. And to kind of piggyback on what Omar said with the last question, I'm going to introduce this in the meeting, but Omar doesn't even know this yet, but I actually already have a doctor signed up to give us a talk. He's actually a really good friend of mine who's he's a doctor in physical therapy. So we're trying to hopefully have a lot of people that are from a lot of different fields, in the medical world, to kind of give their perspective. So it's a really cool way for students to just, if they are interested in the medical field and going into college, they'll have a much better grasp on what they can expect and what they will see in just maybe a year or two.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And especially, in the medical field, it's difficult with everything, going to med school, and getting that firsthand experience and learning from a doctor themselves and getting to hear from them is certainly a great experience for any prospective med student. So last question goes to Omar. If students are interested in joining the med club, what should they do?
Well, if they're interested, they should either contact me or Mr. Clapp, and we'll obviously give them the information, the classroom code, so they can come in. And if they're coming in too late, after the first couple of meetings, that's completely fine. We'll update them on what we already have done. And we don't want people to think that if they want to join, they have to join right now, right before the first meeting. If they want to join, they can join anytime throughout the year. And if they're interested, please come join.
Well, it's great to hear. And you mentioned, like, before we started, 27 people already in the Google Classroom, and you guys have not had your first meeting yet. So clearly there's a lot of interest, and I wish you guys both the best of luck going forwards with the new club.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Yeah. Thank you for having this. This is awesome. Thank you.
All right, so when we come back, we'll be spotlighting the media club, plus Josh and I will play trivia with Miss Wisniewski. For Joe Stibich, I'm Itai Geller. This is the Metuchen High School Podcast. Now a quick word from Optique Unique.
Having trouble seeing the board in class? Do you need safety glasses for your school sport? If you answered yes to either of these questions, head over to Optique Unique, the eyeglass store at 406 Main Street in Metuchen. Optique Unique does it all. Not only do they offer eyewear for all ages, they also sell sports-specific safety glasses for kids and adults. Call them at 732-321-2020. That's 732-321-2020, or visit OptiqueUnique.com.
For our sports broadcasts back in the fall, we did it a little different. The MHS Pawdcast worked in conjunction with the Metuchen High School Media Club on the Bulldog Report to provide coverage of soccer games, field hockey, and football, including that soccer sectional final game a few weeks ago. And it's great to be joined by the president of this club, who was here last year, and there's a lot more going on in the media club this year. So Ben Solasky, a sophomore, thanks so much for coming back on today on the podcast. Always great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so to kick things off, I'd just like to ask, how did you first develop an interest for filmmaking?
So really, it all just kind of happened. I was having fun when I was a lot younger, just recording on like an iPad and whatever, having fun with my sister. Then I got a phone. I started taking on jobs using my phone to film things. I eventually saw that it made financial sense to get a camera, just a normal DSLR camera, taking on more jobs, higher paying jobs. That's when I contacted Audrey Hauser from the PTO and Brandon Ulig. They're our advisors. And yeah, we made the club. I got some more equipment, and I've been using that for our club. And we finally just this year got some official media club equipment that we're all able to use.
Yeah, it's been great to see all the new equipment that's come in this fall so we can do the sports broadcasts. But I want to ask you, I mean, you've had a long interest in filmmaking, and I mean, you're doing it in school, outside of school. It seems like you never stop. But what drives you? What do you enjoy most about making and editing videos?
So I think what it really comes down to is I like to test myself and see if I'm able to learn something new, apply a new skill. And that's what really just keeps me motivated and keep on going with all this.
So how did you go about starting the media club? Were there any challenges that you faced along the way?
So for me, there weren't any challenges. When we started it, it was really, I contacted Audrey Hauser and she did a lot of the heavy lifting. She got in contact with Mr. Paragallo and he gave us the okay. The only challenge I specifically faced was just getting equipment for the club to use instead of using just my stuff, because we only had one, maybe two cameras at one time working. Now we have, I believe, 3.
So now you're in your second year. You've definitely grown. We've done more than just, I mean, the first year it was just getting it off the ground. And I know you did a couple of the videos, like the mini docs per se of the Harlem Wizards game and the prom fashion show. How has the club grown overall, and what are some of the things that the club has done already this year and is planning to do going forwards?
So obviously it's been a little bit difficult with this whole pandemic going on. It's been very restricting of what we're able to do. My original plan, had schools been open, hybrid schedule, and things not have gotten worse past September, I would have liked to have weekly meetings. Now it's kind of just whenever we can. But I want to incorporate, we're actually going to be doing a film competition, which I'm going to be announcing the topic sometime probably this week before winter break starts, so everyone has a chance to get going with that. And I mean, we're going to be covering all events that if we're back in school in the spring, or any events, even if we're not in school in the spring, we'll still be covering school events. We plan on live streaming basketball games in the winter. If that still is happening, we'll see. But yeah, a lot of it's all up in the air right now, and we're just hoping that we'll be able to be a little more active in the school community.
All right, so when I was looking at the MHS Media Club and social media pages and some of the work that you guys have put together, I noticed that you primarily focus on the community and MHS. But do you plan on continuing this trend going forward, or do you have any future plans that take inspiration from elsewhere?
So we do plan on keeping it pretty much the same. School community is always going to be first in all that we do. But we do want to sort of expand our horizons. This year in particular, we were focusing just on sports, at least for the first half of the year, just because we have all this new equipment, computers, cameras, and football season was happening. So we were there streaming that stuff. We want to extend it out to clubs, any projects that other students or teachers in the school want us to do. We want to be as involved in the school as we can. We did recently take on one project from, I believe it was the Metuchen Environmental Commission. They're doing some, I think, cleaning up one of the parks in town. So we are doing some more community outreach stuff also, not just in the school. But yeah, we're going to primarily stick to just school community, but would like to spread it out to more people.
Well, it's been great to see how the club has grown. I mean, just this year when I was doing the football games in the fall, I mean, back when I was just a freshman, I'd just be on my phone trying to stream it. And then when I first saw the big setup in the press box with all the monitors and the cameras, I mean, it was great and a great improvement, and really, hopefully, everything goes well for the winter season. But outside of sports, it seems like you got a good plan with this upcoming film competition and all the other projects you're planning on. So best of luck heading into 2021 and the rest of the school year, Ben.
Thank you so much.
All right, so when we come back after this word from the Black Belt Institute, it'll be time for the trivia show with Josh and Miss Wisniewski. For Itai Geller, I'm Eddie Kalegi. This is the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS.
Do you want to build character, build confidence, or even build yourself? All that and more can be accomplished at the Black Belt Institute at 23 New Street, right here in Metuchen. Students of all ages have been able to learn respect, discipline, fitness, and self-defense from their experienced instructors for over 20 years. Whether you're an adult looking for stress reduction or know someone young who has interest in Taekwondo, the Black Belt Institute is the place to go. The Institute takes a fun approach at teaching the rules of self-defense, instilling in their students an I-can-do-it attitude. Interested in taking a class? Call them at 732-205-9797 or visit their website at blackbeltinst.com. Once again, that's 732-205-9797 or blackbeltinst.com. The Black Belt Institute, Metuchen's leader in martial arts and fitness.
Welcome back to the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. I'm Eddie Kalegi with Josh Hyman. It's that time of year again, our final show of 2020, final show of the year. Just like every year, it's holiday trivia. It's great to be joined once again by our club advisor and English teacher at MHS, Ms. Wisniewski. Thanks so much for coming on and sticking with tradition again, even in the virtual form.
That's okay. How you doing, Eddie? How you doing, Josh?
We're doing good. So the last 3 years, we've done this trivia, 2017, 2018, 2019. But the one thing, I mean, we've kind of just gotten lost with it and not really keeping score. I'm going to try to keep track of how many we each get right this year, just, so we can have our own little bragging rights at the end. I see Josh has the pencil and paper out. So, yeah. So whenever you're ready, Ms. Wisniewski.
Okay, I'm ready. I have 7 questions for you this year, and I will start with just sports questions because I know that's what you like.
Oh, no.
So what NFL team, What
said, oh,
NFL?
no.
What NFL coach has his team to the most Super Bowls?
Belichick?
Belichick.
You both got it right.
All right.
And how many?
For each of us.
And how many?
How many
6.
Yeah.
Josh got it right. 6. Were you thinking that too, Eddie?
Yeah, I was confused about how many he won or how many he was in, but yeah, 6.
It was how many he won.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
many he won. Okay. How many times have the Dodgers won the World Series?
Twice.
How about you, Eddie?
5.
Both wrong. They've won 7 times.
7.
How
Oh,
many,
dang, I was way off.
how many times have they appeared in the World Series?
9.
15.
Nope, 21. 21.
Oh no.
But, all right.
Okay, do you know what Mr. Clark, he's a history teacher at the high school. He's a big Dodgers fan. So he was elated this year because they won the World Series. And so that's what made me think of a Dodgers question. I was like, how many times have they even won? So, okay. Who was the shortest NBA player of all time?
Muggsy Mogues.
Very good. And how tall was he, or is he?
5'4".
5'4".
Nope, he was 5'3", but you got the name right.
All right,
And
so
who
Josh
was
is at 3.
And who was
I'm
the
at
tallest?
4. Yeah.
And who was the tallest?
Manute Bol.
And what did you say, Addie?
Manute Bol.
Okay, I have, his name is Georgia Murasan, and he was 7'7".
Oh, so that must have been.
So,
Yeah, that could have been a collegiate player too. I was thinking Manute Bol, but Manute Bol might actually be 7'6". Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
remember.
Yeah.
So he was considered. Okay, so now we're going to get into some Metuchen trivia.
All right.
What famous graduate from Metuchen High School played linebacker for Metuchen High School?
So a famous graduate from the school.
Mm-hmm.
David.
You want me to give you a hint? He was actually he's in the Hall of Fame.
DeJuan Miller? No, that can't be right. I
No.
don't know.
And I'll give you another hint. Think of a school setting.
Wait, so
He
were
passed away about 2 years ago.
It's not Bernard Spigner, right?
No.
Okay.
It was Robert Hedges
Oh.
from Welcome Back, Kotter, remember?
Yeah.
That's why it's like, think of a school setting.
I didn't know he played
Okay.
linebacker too, because I know he was an actor.
I know, neither did I. That's why I tried giving you clues with a famous graduate.
Yeah.
And I also, he's in the Hall of Fame at Metuchen as well. And he died, I think, 2 years ago. I think he passed 2 or 3 years ago. He died premature. He was actually a little young to die, but. Okay, who is the new vice principal at Metuchen High School?
Mr. Stike.
Mr. Stike.
Okay, bam, you got that one right. Okay, this one's a little more complicated, but I was curious about it myself, so I looked it up. Why is Metuchen called the Brainy Borough?
Because it was a Metuchen in the newspaper between us and another town to list how many famous people we were. Each week we'd put it in the newspaper. The other town ran out of people to name while we didn't, so we won the title of Brainy Borough.
That's really, bam, that's really, were you going to say that too, Eddie?
No, I didn't know that. Good job, Josh.
The only difference, it wasn't so much as it had to be famous people, but they actually had to publish something. So it could have been like a lot of journalists actually were in the competition. So a lot of English people from they published journals and stuff, a lot of artists. But it was a competition that was brought on from Bloomfield, and they issued it, and it was a written challenge. And this happened in 1914. That's how long ago that occurred. And it's still so there's really, and who was the biggest winner out of them all? I don't know the person's name, but it was a female, actually. So just to give that credit. And then the last question is, who is your favorite advisor?
You.
Yep, Miss Wisniewski.
Josh gets it right.
A tough one, but I got it.
Yeah, that was that was the golden one. That's the big $1 million. That's on the top of the pyramid there. Okay.
So,
that's
Josh, if I added it up correctly, I think you're the winner. I think you got it like 5-3 or something, or 6-4.
Yeah, I have it at I think I have it like 5-3, 5-2. I don't really know how we were keeping score.
Yeah, but regardless, you
Kind of
got the
confusing
question right,
there.
'cause you got that Brainy Burrow one, so I never knew
I'm
that.
very impressed. I
Yeah.
heard about it a while ago, but
Mm-hmm.
I never really knew like exactly the whole. So I went and I read it, and you coined it right up. Where did you like?
Yeah,
where
I
did
remember
you see
we
that?
learned about this. We learned about this a while ago. I think we were doing something in third, fourth grade, maybe. I
Okay.
don't really remember where I read it, but I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," and I just remembered it.
Yeah, it's actually sad though, right? To coin to give yourself a name like that. It's sort of like elitist and arrogant.
A bit, but we won, so we get to
But-
we get to be elitist and arrogant about it, you know?
But it's just you won in 1914. It's like it's not a rolling competition. It's not like this goes on every year.
What I think is,
Yeah, but
if it came from such a way that it's the moniker has still stuck in Metuchen now for over a century, that's still just.
But the whole thing is but what are you saying about people that weren't in the competition?
That's true.
Nobody else was invited, right? So nobody else was really so you're really the Brainy Borough based on one other. You only had one opponent.
Yeah.
It's like the Super Bowl champions being crowned world champions.
Exactly.
When it only takes place in America.
But not even the Super Bowl, because it's basically you're just picking, they just picked each other. Nobody said they were the best. They decided to do this competition. But I'm one of those people that I don't really base things on where you live or your economic status or the color of your skin or what religious practice. I don't look at those things. So I guess I'm one of those people that when I hear the people think they're elite, it sort of bothers me a little bit, although I work with great students and I work in Metuchen, but now that's why.
Yeah, but I'd like to hope that the nickname still applies to our town after all those years. I'd like to hope.
Well, the thing is, it's self-proclaimed. The only people that call Metuchen the Brady Borough are people that live in Metuchen. Nobody else.
Yeah.
It's self-proclaimed. Nobody outside of Metuchen goes, "Oh, that's that Brainy Borough." Basically Metuchen's we're the Brainy Borough. So.
Well, it was great once again to do the trivia show for the 4th straight year. Hopefully next year with Itai and hopefully we'll get some more younger members that we can keep this tradition going into next year. But Ms. Wisniewski, it's been great having you do this each year. And it's been great having you as the advisor these last 4 years. So
you guys have been awesome the whole time. Excellent. I brag about you all the time. You're excellent, both of you.
Well, thanks so much.
Well, have a great holiday.
Yeah, to you too. So that'll just about wrap things up. But thank you to our guests today, Ms. Wisniewski, Mr. Clapp, and Omar Jabber for the Medicine Club, and Ben Solasky for the Media Club. For Itai, Julia, Joe, Josh, and me, I'm Itai Geller. We'll see you next time. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We'll be back in 2021 here on the MHS Podcast.